Hello, educational technology students. This is Dr. Brewer, and it's week 13, the digital divide. We have a little bit of an overlap this week as we are finishing up our major project number one PBL web quests and beginning our major project number two digital stories. Now, this week I give you the assignment for the digital story. There's a video for you to watch, and you can start thinking about how you might approach it. But the content for this week itself is focused on the digital divide and understanding different aspects of that divide. And so you should begin to think about what and how you're going to create your digital story. And then next week, we'll take some time to consider what makes a digital story, why we have digital stories. But this week is a little bit of a buffer between the last project and the final project. And so my Prezi will be short because the majority of what I want you to do is watch this video right here called Without a Net. It's a documentary about the digital divide here in the United States and what some schools and school districts are doing to address that digital divide. So what is that digital divide, you may or may not be asking? It's not just the difference between those that have technology and those that don't. That's what it used to be. The digital divide used to be those that did or did not have technology. But now we have to think larger than that. It's not just if you have technology, but we have to ask how fast is your access to internet? We have to ask what tier of technology it is you're using. Yes, you might have a smartphone, but what kind of smartphone do you have? What kind of a cell phone are you using? What kind of a laptop do you have access to? And so it's not just access, and then it's not just having the materials, but it's what kind of access you have. And then after that, just because you have access and you've got a nice device, it doesn't mean you know how to use it for education. It doesn't mean you know how to use it at all. And so this infographic here is looking at the difference between passive and active use in the classroom. And so I say so a lot, don't I? I should really try to check that. When we think about students in the classroom, how are they using the technology? A lot of technology use in society, you may argue, is passive. And in the classroom, we want to try and make it active. We want them immersed in simulations. We want them designing or collaborating with their peers. In your PBL, what kind of activities were you providing students to actively engage with technology and not just passive use? And I consider note-taking to be passive use. Note-taking is a passive activity. Students are simply writing things down. There's no action. There's no interaction. It's just taking notes. That's not active use of technology. Another way to look at the digital divide here, and this U.S. Census provides a large number of these data analysis infographics, but this breaks it down by race and Hispanic origin, computer type, and broadband internet. And so you can see the differences that exist along the lines of the digital divide. And lastly, here's another infographic for who has home broadband, who uses the cell phones to access, and then a consideration of when we think about access to the internet and we think about who is providing and controlling that access, we begin to think perhaps that those that can afford internet access and those that can pay for it might and do find better access, better technology, and therefore perhaps better engagement in society. And that's another aspect of the digital divide. Yes, we have to look at who has and who doesn't have, but then when we have it and we look at the access and we look at the quality of that access, money seems to be able to buy a lot of the one side of the digital divide. Who controls the internet that you utilize every day? If you will recall, not long ago and continuing today, there is a debate and a discussion in our government over the net neutrality rules that exist. Should the net no longer be neutral? Should companies be able to decide who has access and who does not? Do we begin to cut the net back and cut people off from the internet? And if you think about the internet as the world's knowledge, if you look at it and you consider the fact that the internet provides access to questions and information, if we begin to squelch that, if we begin to cut that back based on money or based on region or location, what does that mean for education? What does that mean for schools? It will further separate and divide the school experience, which will also, if you've had multicultural education yet or not, will begin to intersect with not only socioeconomic status, but race, ethnicity, gender, and other aspects of our multicultural identity. I'd like you to watch this documentary, please. As you watch, consider our philosophy questions and where it can fit into your philosophical considerations on your digital resume. This is a reminder. You should be constructing your digital resume. It was assigned at the very beginning of the year. If you'd like, you can go back to Module 1 and you should be able to find the digital assignment guide for the digital resume. This is the location of your blog, and you should be putting everything else on the digital resume as well. All of our course assignments, all of your ideas, and you should be writing a philosophy of education. I've reminded you of this a few times. Please do not forget. I've shared a couple of examples this week, just in case, of what I expect. So please make sure you take a look at those. The remainder of this Prezi is nothing more than the video itself. So please watch the video and go in and complete the voice thread. There's a blog for you to write, work on your digital resume, and take a look at the digital story assignment guide. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a great week.